One of my favorite mobile video games, Vikings. One very cool fact about Vikings, there are 10 times more Viking players today than actual Vikings ever lived. You heard me, 20 million for a mobile game. It's incredible, and if that's not enough, this is why I'm telling you to download Vikings right now. Number 1. Finally, we have a game that is a perfect mix of 3D graphics and smooth gameplay. Number 2, Vikings' massive online battles will get you hooked from literally 5 minutes of playing. Number 3, it's the first strategy RPG game filled with detailed ancient Vikings open world. You can also find me in the game, Third Phase Moon, so don't waste time. Install Vikings right now using the links below. And if you do it right now, you'll get a 200 gold protection shield and your place in Valhalla for free. Now let's get to Third Phase of Moon. UFO videos coming up.
We're getting videos on a daily basis of strange UFO, paranormal videos, you name it, we get it right here at Third Phase of Moon. And there is something happening, and it seems like it's happening faster and faster as the months go on. And you made a quote, if I'm not mistaken, that you're saying that aliens could attack us at any time, and it's kind of a warning. What do you say about that?
Well, I think some of my remarks on that were maybe taken a little bit out of context. I was having a hypothetical discussion, and somebody asked me, well, look, you know, Nick, you've worked on this subject for real, for the government, so with Hollywood sci-fi movies in mind, what do you really think would happen? And in a speculative way, I threw some thoughts out there, and I said, well, we would fight back. I think that's in our nature. It's hardwired into us. And I said, inevitably, we would use various aircraft, drones, and weapon systems that undoubtedly we have now, but the existence of which the public are not yet aware. And I think pretty much anyone involved in military research and development will tell you that we've got things that you won't see publicly declared for years. I mean, a good example is the stealth fighter, which was flying for many, many years before it became public knowledge. So all I said was, if we did encounter hostile aliens, we'd fight back, and we'd probably have some pretty sophisticated weapons to do so.
Are the happenings of the crop circles in the UK. Where did you stand on that during your years of all your investigation? And can you tell us if these things are still occurring?
They are still occurring, but in rather less numbers, and disappointingly, certainly this season, a little bit less spectacular than some of the really complex geometric shapes and glyphs that we've had over the years. Now, when I was at the Ministry of Defense on the UFO project, crop circles were not formally in my terms of reference, but clearly because of the perceived link between crop circles and UFOs, I did look into the mystery a little bit. I have to say I'm broadly pretty skeptical on crop circles. I've seen some people make them. I think sometimes people underestimate just how big the teams are that sometimes go and create these things, how sophisticated they are in their planning, which is all done on computer, taking with them out into the fields, things like night vision goggles, global positioning system, the GPS to get the coordinates right. So I think what I'm saying is that most of these things are clearly made by people. But in a sense, never say never. I go back to what you said, what was said earlier in the show about Stanton Friedman's excellent and very correct quote. The believers only need to be right once. The skeptics have got to be right every single time, but the believers have only got to be right once. So, I'll keep an open mind. I'll watch. I have yet to be convinced, but, I'd love crop circles to be something more than just a bunch of people out having fun on a summer's night.
Go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, we at Third Phase Moon, we still have yet to see a legitimate crop circle being formed as in a real-time video, and that's one of the smoking gun videos that we're looking for. Everybody's seeing these crop circles the day after one in high probability. There are people out there with, their 4x4, planks of wood forming these crop circles. Sophisticated indeed, but, we're looking for these crop circles on video as they're being, constructed. But to the next question, and going back a little bit about time travel, the Higgs boson theory about, the Hadron Collider being sabotaged by time travelers, where there were breadcrumbs found in the machine, and it pretty much set them back for quite a while, and they could not explain on how the breadcrumbs got there, is an interesting topic. Did you want to touch on some of the theories you might have heard about that incident?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about breadcrumbs in the machine, but for all I know, that was some physicist having his lunch. But I don't mean to make light of this. I suspect, in a sense, this is unknowable. If time travel is real, I think clearly these people are capable of covering their tracks to an extent that we simply couldn't track them. And if we find something, it's probably only because they want us to. I mean, this is all speculative, of course, and the physics is way beyond me. I think the trouble with all of this is that you start off talking about this and you veer off into what almost becomes philosophical questions, debating the grandfather paradox, for example. I mean, if time travelers came back to sabotage the Large Hadron Collider, then they themselves in the future live in the world in which the Large Hadron Collider was sabotaged. And I mean, this is why we talk about this as going round and round in circles, that sort of causal loop and things. I mean, it is incredibly difficult, I think, to get one's head around this.
Well, let's get to facts and less hypothetical. The UK and the government is looking for UFO reports from jet commercial airline pilots. But here in the United States, last year, the FAA refuses to take reports of UFOs from commercial airline pilots and is referred to the Bigelow Aerospace program, which is quite interesting to me why they don't take the reports. The UK is taking the reports looking for pilots because these people have real character. They have the eyes to see what is a UFO and what the regular commercial airline or a typical aircraft. Why do you think that the FAA is refusing to take these reports? They're handing it off to this independent Bigelow Aerospace program.
Well, I think, in a sense, there's two separate questions there.
By popular demand, Paul Barrett is back with his third album, Third Phase of Moon, The Strangest Things. 12 brand new tracks, heard by millions, on your favorite channel, Third Phase of Moon. Available on iTunes, Amazon, and music streaming services. Paul Barrett's Third Phase of Moon, The Strangest Things. Available right now. Links are below. Keep your eyes on the skies. We're not alone.